One, two, three. What is up, you guys? Wow. What a semifinals finish. This was definitely big one. A big play, lots of action, way closer than expected. How you doing? My name is Gift Time Ibelu here on the Gift Time Rugby Network, and we're here recapping the Olympic Rugby men's semifinals. Guys, this was probably as good a semifinals as you could get, and this is across the board, all right? Top to bottom. You know what? I'm not going to waste any time. Let's start off right from the beginning. Yes, the games that we don't feel like mattered the most, but it's the 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th. 12th and 11th finished out Korea, Japan, great back and forth. Not the most interesting game, but Japan coming out on top, finishing 11th, Korea 12th, kind of expected. Second game, Kenya versus Ireland for 9th and 10th place. We finally got to see the Kenya that we've been expecting. Of course, this is a demoralized Irish team. You know, I know they wanted to be able to move on. Obviously got hurt by the fact they couldn't even get into the quarterfinals after not making more than 2 points is what they needed. Chuck, nice to see you. Bates, nice to see you. Will, thank you for coming through. But yeah, Kenya ended up winning that game 22-0. Great retirement game for a lot of players for Kenya. Namely, Amobe for Kenya, coming off 38 years old. His last one might be the last time we see Collins and Jerry in an Olympic game, and coming close to the end of his career. But we saw a lot of young talent come out of that Kenya game. So Kenya is still going to be the mind-boggling dark horse team for a long time. All right, so then comes into the 5th through 8th semifinal rounds. This is the one that we really wanted to go off. Starting off, USA versus Canada. Now, hey, Panther Burn, thank you for coming through. Now, this was a game that I was nervous on. Not because I didn't think that we'd be able to win, but it was going to be about mindset. After an emotionally tasking game earlier with against Great Britain, and we all know with the comeback, 26-21, that is something that's very hard to take for a team that was expecting to enter into medal rounds. And so seeing that USA team, what they were going to do, how were they going to be able to recover? Because they don't have a whole lot of time. What's up, Danny Spud? Thanks for coming through. But this USA team, I got to give them credit, man. They started off slow. This was a much closer game than it really had any business being. But after Carlin Isles got that first score, and I think that is so important that it happened. Carlin Isles getting that first score, you started to see the USA team start to pick it up. You started seeing them pick it up bit by bit. Canada was still coming through, you know. Harry Jones actually returned that play. Hey, what's up, Ricky Howell? Thank you so much. Canada actually returned a counter score by Harry Jones shortly after tying it up going into halftime. That was a nerve-wracking moment. What's up, PL Prinil? Piper Prinil? Well, thank you so for joining, taking the time. But yeah, that game, that was heartbreaking. I can't imagine anybody, and let me know what it was. Carlin, yo, Banks, you ain't lying. Carlin's tackles have improved significantly. I think last Olympics, people were tripping on him a little bit about it. I thought he's been improving a lot, but this one, he set himself into the edges, he made the wraps, and he not only was just a speed bump for people, he actually took people down. So I think that actually made a really clear difference into how it plays out. And we got to remember, man, this is a U.S. team it's getting old. Carlin Isles, he's probably got one more Olympic left. So to see that he's improving on his defense, and especially as, you know, you see that teams are always staying up more and more off of him. You're right. He's not afraid anymore. He's absolutely not afraid anymore. He's going in for the tackles. He's playing like he doesn't care. This is what happens when you turn 30. All right, 31 years old, you start losing your cares. The lack of F's start flying out the window. But man, look, want a big shout out. Good job by Kayvon Williams. It kind of was a rough start. Hey, Joacy, hey, thanks for coming through. Kayvon had a little bit of a rough start coming on. Hey, Ty Tank, thank you for coming on early or during the second half at scrum half. But, yo, a big smart play, and I think people underestimate this one. Kayvon got held up by 4 Canada players in the middle of that play. And he could have just tried to struggle, and if he had just stood still, it would have been a turnover ball going over to Canada. But what he did, and it was really subtle, He started using his legs. Yo, GB Coma, thank you so much for coming through. He started using his legs to climb up the Canadian players, and they unintentionally started lifting him up, which set up the infraction, and boom, it actually let us get the Martin Iosefo score down the middle. Hey, what's up, Brandon? What's good with you, brother? The Iosefo score right up the middle, off the Kayvon Williams pass, and putting USA up 14-7. But, again, this is the battle of Americas. This is the battle for North America. So, Canada obviously has to keep making it difficult and not let themselves just get rolled over. Coming back with it, Justin Douglas with a quick counter score. But this is why, again, it matters where your mindset is. This game was a mindset game, and the U.S. passed it. And this is a huge deal, I think, moving forward. Finals play, Carlin Isles gets the long try off the edge, finishes out 21-14. USA moves on to the 5th place round and able to continue moving on to another set. That is what we wanted to be able to see off of that. Guys, it was a proud moment. Look, as bad as earlier today was with the 26-21 loss, I know it's Canada and Canada hasn't been very good, but it was mental. USA is mentally strong, and we got to see who they're going to end up playing against, and it's going to be South Africa. We're getting the rematch for Pool Play C. All right, we're getting the rematch, and I feel like this is going to be probably the best match of the tournament, of this last finals round, all right? Best match of the last finals round. So let's talk about this one. Let's talk about the fact that South Africa came into this one pissed, all right? They got embarrassed by Argentina in the quarterfinals. Absolutely embarrassed by Argentina, losing against a team that was down 1. And in the last minute of the game, it was a 5-7 game South Africa's favor, and they still couldn't score. Australia took all the brunt of it, all right? Started off with a Soizapu play. Great efficient play by South Africa. Passing it, consistent, keeping the ball moving. Scored off that one 5-0, didn't get the turnover, didn't get the conversion. Then followed it up by not one, but 2 Ronald Brown touches, which was 2 Ronald Brown tries. Taking it across the edge. First one was a double hop going in. Great play, great run, and a lot of power off a kick play by Selvin David, probably one of the best scrum halves in this tournament, easily. And then it followed up by the end of the second half. Ronald Brown getting a nice, easy offload in for the try, taking out the corner. Bruh, he is another one that's an aspect for the future. These guys are about to do some damage. Going into halftime 17-0. And then, of course, Australia comes back with Australia doesn't quit. Australia said, yo, we are still a rugby nation. We got Lachie Miller finding space at the beginning of the second half, bringing the score up 17-7. South Africa on the edge. You're still calm, but look, we're starting to see a little bit of a flashback. And then you got 2 errors against South Africa that gave Justin Turner of Australia a chance to be able to get in, again, off the edge in 17-12. Of course, this becomes a nail-biter. But this is where you go. The best teams close hardest. Not how they start, it's how they close. And JC Pretorius, yo, this is the guy who was a player to watch prior to this tournament starting. Young guy, he's only 23 years old. 23 years old, still has his career ahead of him. This kid put the team on his back on this phase. Not only did he crash, what's up, Almighty Twin? Yo, thank you for coming through. Not only did JC Pretorius crash through and create a disruption against Australia, but he went forth, picked up his own ball, broke off the tackle, and then down the line for about 70 meters to take it into the score, putting South Africa up 22-12. Yo, this was masterful right there. And that was basically where you go, okay, this is the knife in the coffin. This is the last nail in the coffin. But, big shout out to Australia. They don't quit. And leave it to Longbottom of Australia, taking it in for the last score, 22-19, but it was too late. Full time done. South Africa, USA for the fifth seed place, 5th ranked place, man. All right, this is the one that we want to be able to get. We want to get the rematch, really make it worthwhile, and I feel like the U.S. off of this Canada win is going to come in mentally strong. South Africa is going to come in mentally strong, and we're going to see the best of both. All right, none of the slip errors that we saw during the first day with all that rain and everything like that. So now we know 7th, 8th is going to be Canada versus Australia. And 5th, 6th is going to be USA versus South Africa. Now, entering into the medal rounds. All right. Yo, Caillou, what's good with you, brother? I hope you're having a good one. Thanks for joining us. New Zealand versus Great Britain. So this is an interesting one because obviously we have Great Britain who's coming off of the stupid comeback win that I was so against Great Britain on this game. Like now I've leading into this tournament, into these Olympics, I've always been kind of apathetic to Great Britain. What's good with you, Kyle, brother? I hope you're having a good evening, man. But leading into this, I've been apathetic about Great Britain. But from this point on, England, Great Britain, any of them, anybody, if you carry the Captain Jack flag, or you got the cross and bars, yo, you my enemy. Enemy is strong, but you my opponent for life. I am against you, and I was against Great Britain off of this one. New Zealand, I wasn't exactly totally for, but I prefer them over them. And this one was actually a much closer match than I think it was given credit for. New Zealand actually started off this one really weirdly slow. It was almost like they were trying to wear down Great Britain early. They said they could see the speed off of Great Britain, and they were just like, we're going to just phase them down. The first drive was a 50-pass, 3-minute drive. Guys, 50 passes, 3 minutes by New Zealand to score. No touches by Great Britain. 3 minutes, half the time of the first half, Great Britain did not touch the ball, and New Zealand just drove up the field, slow and steady, right? You're thinking, okay, the tone is set. New Zealand is going to hold them. Nope. Great Britain, under Dan Norton, cuts down the middle, boom, up for the 90-meter score by Dan Norton, tying it back up again. So you're looking at 3 minutes to be able for New Zealand to score and 30 seconds for Great Britain to go. Not a good look early on. Then you come back, of course, New Zealand doesn't quit though. You got a pass from Molina to Reagan Ware, taking it off the edge, and it was such an edgy score because Reagan Ware was right on the edge of going out into touch, which would have turned it all over, nullifying the score. Got it in, New Zealand up 14-7 going into halftime. Still anybody's game, but honestly, this is basically whenever New Zealand ended up just like running all over Great Britain. Great Britain, began Reagan Ware, came back again, hit it with another score to start off the second half, coming off of a Mickelson pass. Then you had Dylan Collier, the badass, the strong man. What's up, TC? I hope you're doing well, girl. Yo, thank you for joining. Kurt Baker getting his second score of the tournament. A guy who was supposed to be a player to watch, speedster, hadn't really been much of an effect for most of this tournament, but he was able to get putting the score up 24-7, and then the captain, Scott Curry, doing it for the team, putting the team on his back, driving it, putting it over. It ended up being 29-17. 29-17. Oh, I wrote that wrong. 29-7. New Zealand over Great Britain. Great Britain knocked out. You're going into the bronze medal round, not repeating as a silver medalist. Thank you, God, because Great Britain is a great overrated team, all right? Matt Benahan, I hope you're hearing this. Overrated team. Penzami, overrated team. I hope you guys know this. And then last game, all right, we know New Zealand's going in. Last game of the round. Fiji versus Argentina. Guys, this was a tight one. Argentina, I thought this one was going to be a tough one for Argentina. They'd already played a super emotionally tasking, already very injury-ridden team. Lost one player to red card. Lost one player to an injury, their primary fast back, in Ozymandias. They lost Revolt, their hooker, to red card. And then on top of that, they already had the emotional win from beating South Africa with 6 players for the majority of the match. But hey, look, let you know, don't underestimate these Southern Hemisphere teams. These Southern Hemisphere teams work differently. Argentina came at Fiji so strong. They came at them so strong. I got a little worried that we were going to see a repeat because I really don't want Argentina to go on. Like, I'm happy with where they're at right now. But I didn't want them to get gold and silver. I didn't want them in the gold medal round. But look, Sorelli Makela found room for Fiji. And Fiji did what Fiji does. They found room in the middle, switched the ball hand. This dude literally took the ball, switched it on the hand, gave the stiff arm on Argentina in for the easy score, getting it up 5-0. Followed it up by a Meli Gali score, taking it off of a perfect disruption of this ruck. Just crashing threw off Argentina in easy scores. So going into we're 12-0 midway through the game, all right? But this is where, again, Argentina has a rising star out of this tournament. Marcus Monella, 21-year-old, probably one of the fastest guys on the field, probably easily the fastest guy on the field. Took it up the edge, found a way to take the phase, take the score 12-7. Fiji is tight. It's tight. But, it's Fiji. What do you expect? They start slow. It's not going to be anything. Nope. Ignacio Mendy of Argentina. I got to read these out because you guys aren't going to believe it unless you saw it. Ignacio Mendy finishing the phase, takes it up the edge. Argentina's up on Fiji. 14-12 going into halftime. The last time a team got up at halftime against Fiji was Japan. All right, and that was the first game. Fiji underestimating Argentina coming in tough. It was almost like they didn't lose anybody. They felt like they didn't lose anybody. But man, that's whenever you start to say, okay, this is when the game actually starts to change over, and that's whenever it was it. I'm not gonna say that Fiji took it personally, but Fiji said, okay, it's time for us to stop playing games. Yo, Mendy off the second half, right before Fiji scored again, took the biggest hit, and I'm going to post this up on my social media here, took the biggest hit against Tuivasa. This dude is built. He's built like, if you guys know football, Mike Allstott. If you ever saw Mike Allstott with pads, that was Tuivasa. He looks like Mike Allstott / Mike Tyson, the Fijian version. This dude took a blindside hit against onto Mendy. Of course, it leads into Wanakulo edge score, just taking it up for basically 60 meters, putting Fiji up 19-14, getting back the lead. And then, of course, closing out the play because, Argentina played this one hard all the way through, but Fiji is Fiji. What's up, Duncan? I hope you're doing well, man. Thank you for coming through. Semi Radaraja goes in. He literally swipes an Argentinian player away. Swipes him away. Literally out the way, in for the score. Fiji wins this one 26-14. Fiji, New Zealand, gold medal round. Great Britain, Argentina. Great Britain, Argentina, bronze medal round. Jatavia, man, thank you so much for coming through. This is the matches we're looking for, all right? Fiji is strongly the favorite coming out for this, in my opinion. Fiji is one that all they have to do is turn it on. It's when they decide to do it. What up, Mr. Abaka? Thank you so much for joining. We have the matchups that we could ask for. Fiji, New Zealand, Argentina, Great Britain, USA versus South Africa, and Canada versus Australia. You gotta love it. You gotta love it, man. Each of these teams have been perfectly matched up, and it's clearly unintentional. The power of Fiji and New Zealand, I think we can say. But in my opinion, predictive-wise, Fiji takes this one. New Zealand has not played super tough. Dylan Collier, Joe Weber are the two tough guys for New Zealand. But even in some of these games, especially this game against Great Britain, they were iffy in terms of their impact as battering rams. And especially New Zealand needing to match up power for power, it doesn't go. I look at Fiji taking the gold in this one, New Zealand getting silver. Argentina, Great Britain. Great Britain is not a team that likes to get hit. Great Britain they are all backs. They have no forwards. They are all backs. They do not like to get hit. Argentina hits. Argentina hits, and they got the speed. I absolutely look for Argentina to take this one off the back of Marcus Manata. Look for that kid. That kid is going to get at least 2 scores inside that Great Britain game. So look for Argentina getting to bronze in this one. In the 5th place match, I am absolutely calling U.S. Yes, I am a homer with it, but I actually think that they are going to mentally overwhelm South Africa in this one. South Africa is definitely going to play this tight. It's almost very similar to whenever they played Japan again in 2016, but I think in this situation, the U.S. is going to overwhelm. Less injuries, they are less pressure on the U.S., and it's a lot of guys' last play. Look, let's be honest with you. Perry Baker, next Olympics is going to be 38, 39 years old. Samu Manoa, he's not going to be back. He's 36 now. Unless he's playing at 40, which I highly doubt, he's not coming back, you know. We got Carlin Isles. I like that, Duncan. We got Carlin Isles, 31. Next Olympics, last hurrah. Danny Barrett, another 30-year-old. Last hurrah, maybe give or take, for next Olympics. Madison Hughes, obviously we see. What's up, Tyler Mina? Madison Hughes, you know, coming back, but we got a lot of guys who are on their last hurrah. We got a lot of young guys, but this is a era that's coming to an end with this Olympics. So I think the U.S. is going to come in strong. South Africa, again, they have probably the most pressure on them, but just play until the leg falls off. I think he's been already going that direction, but I want him to go all the way until he can't go anymore too, or until he chooses not to, and gets a nice career doing talks and speeches and just coaching and everything, bro. That's a good guy out there. And then Canada, Australia. Australia is about to wipe him out. Samu Kerevi by himself is probably going to wipe out Canada. Like, the only reason I feel the Canada-USA match was the mental game of being in the 5th place semifinals, and then, of course, it's intercontinental rivalry. So that one is not a good indicator of what Canada's level is or what the USA's level is. I look at Australia taking this one. Probably going to see a score by Longbottom. You're going to see a score by Roach, and you're going to see a score by Kerevi off of that. And I think maybe Canada gets maybe one try out of it. But guys, the rest of it, I hope you guys enjoyed. And look, we're not even done yet. We got the women coming up tomorrow at 7 p.m. It starts. It's not over yet. We got so much rugby to go. But guys, this one is going to be great. We're going to be back again tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., getting ready to be able to talk about the finals, really talk it up. You guys take care. Thank you so much for the time that you guys spent over here. You guys have a good night. Cheers.